Nintendo joins the battle, showing off a bunch of exciting new things to come and a partner showcase, even a few Xbox titles headed to the Switch.
And we finally got a look at the new Elden Ring DLC. We even got a release date. We're going to talk about all this stuff and so much more right now on Gaming News Weekly. What's up, everybody? It's time for another episode of Gaming News Weekly, the best weekly video game news show out there. Every single Monday, we bring you all the biggest things happening in the video game industry. We're on Fruit Lab, YouTube, podcast services everywhere. My name is Erok the Red. I am joined every week by this gentleman right here, full clip. What's going on, dude? How are you?
What's up? You know, there's some pretty messed up stuff going on out there, man. Did you hear that they tried to shut the cell phone networks down today? Because they didn't want this gaming news getting out, but we're truth warriors. And we're going to put it out there one way or the other.
One way or the other. We're going to figure it out. We're going to do it the old-fashioned way if we need to. Whatever that is.
Right. We're going to mail it out to people. Magazines.
Yeah.
Gaming News Weekly in print.
Yes. This is something we should have been doing already. You know, like everybody likes a good zine. Remember those? Like a tiny magazine? Yeah. Whatever happened to print media? Am I right?
Right.
How you been?
Good. Yeah, it's getting over COVID. Haven't had a lot of time to branch out in any gaming, but I've played a lot of Hell Let Loose this past week. It's still good.
Are you like the best at it now? You're like in general?
I wouldn't say the best. I'm getting up there. I'm getting some experience, and I'm learning sort of how to move around the map and what to expect. I still get, creamed sometimes, but sometimes I go on a good rip. I've gotten like 10 kill streaks, and in that game, it's kind of saying something.
That sounds impressive in any game. So, yeah, it's fun though. You're enjoying it.
Oh yeah,
nice. Do you have a specialty, a role that you play normally in the army? Is it army?
I believe so. Yeah.
Okay.
But you're like you play at several different countries, so I don't know exactly how the other militaries work. But my specialty has sort of been the machine gun, and it's not like a Call of Duty or a Battlefield game where you've got that massive like 50-pound machine gun and you're just gonna run and gun with it anyway. This is like you're not gonna hit anything unless you plant yourself on the ground, pull out the bipod, or put yourself in a position where you can lean that thing on something, and then maybe, you got to be patient, you got to wait, but if the enemy's coming near you in waves, you can start mowing people down. It's fun.
Nice. It sounds fun. One of these days I'm going to try it, but I'm very scared. I'm scared that people are going to yell at me for being really bad, and then I'm just going to get shot a whole bunch. But these are fears that I have in my everyday life as well. So,
yeah.
I just got to face them. And this is the best place to do it. I have been playing a game that, I've been playing 2 games and they've both kind of just taken over everything. I'm still playing the Mobius Machines, that Metroidvania from last week. Deep in it. I'm loving it. Every minute of it. I'm like enjoying it so much. But a new game has taken the top spot, and I talked about it briefly a couple weeks back. Balatro. This is a poker deck building roguelike where you got to get the best poker hand, and it like to keep things fresh after every round, much like a deck builder or roguelike. You could buy new cards, and either you buy jokers that are multiplying your score. So, like, recently I went on a good tear, and because I had, like, 4 jokers, and each one of them multiplied my score times 10. So, at that point, dude, I'm crushing it, dude. I'm just doing one hand, and I'm winning everything. But then it gets to a point where, like, they throw a little curveball at you, and it's like, all your spades don't count, or all your diamonds don't count. So this one that I was crushing it, I was like, I was changing all my cards from black suited cards to diamonds and hearts. And then I had these jokers that says like, if you ever put up a diamond, you're getting points. So I'm like, this is the best. I'm scoring all these things. And then like I was just about to beat the like you go and every round it counts. Like I think 7 or 8 rounds and you beat the game basically. It's the final boss. And I get there and the last one is like diamonds don't count. And oh, it hurts so bad, man. But I just jump right back on the horse and I get back out there and I'm trying a different strategy, you know, where I'm getting different cards that do different stuff. And it is so much fun. I've said it's right up there with the elites, like Slay the Spire, Monster Train as one of the best deck builders out right now. And it's just with playing cards. You know, it's not there's no special abilities or anything. It's such a well-made game. I'm in love with it.
Is that like random every time, or once you've had something pulled on you, like the diamonds don't count, are you able to sort of know that going forward?
No, it's random. It is random. I don't know how it works out, but there are like certain abilities that can, I think, where you can change what that you know that hook is in the thing. So, I'm still learning the ins and outs, how to get the best thing, because you could skip a round completely so that you're not getting the money from that round. But it gives you like a little extra bonus, and sometimes that bonus will help, you know. But you could so that hook, like where your diamonds don't count, you could see it like before it's coming up. So you can pivot a little bit, but it's usually only like it gives you like 2 options to really change your deck around, and usually it's not enough to. But yeah, dude, I'm on there on YouTube, watching videos, people strategizing. I'm getting like, I haven't been this invested into a game in a while. So, and it feels so dumb because it's just like it's just playing cards, it's just poker, but it's like the style of it is gorgeous. Like you can upgrade the cards to make them like, you know, pearlescent or gold, and each one of those has a different ability, but it like makes it like the card look that way and stuff. It's a great game. I think it was on sale for like $13. It's the best $13 I've ever spent. Nice. So
you gotta get into the esports league.
Oh, you know it. I do think they have like a ranked type situation that I haven't even dabbled in yet, but there's so much of that game that I haven't really messed around with. But yeah, it's a blast. Anybody that's a fan of deck builders, go check out Balatro. Balatro. Mwah. That's what I have to say about it. Mwah. But that's like pretty much it. That's all I've been playing. I got some games that I'm excited to check out next week. But yeah, it's those games have really been like all I've wanted to play. Even when I'm like working, I'm like, I can't wait to go home and play these games. And I'm playing them both on the Steam Deck. So right now my wrist is like killing me. Like I got some inflammation going on because I've been playing too much. That's what happens when you're old and super into video gaming. What are you going to do, right?
Yep. You're going to have to buy a bigger battery pack, I guess.
Exactly. All right. Well, let's get this show on the road. Let's get into our new releases from last week. All right, first up, Nightingale came to PC on February 20th. Now, this is into early access right now. It's not the official release, but this is, we've talked about it a few times. It's the open world survival game. You got to cook, craft, you farm, do all this stuff. And then you go to these crazy, fantastical realms and get, you got to fight weird creatures and get like super rare resources that you could use to enhance your weapons and your things with magic. Oh man, it's so cool. And then you got to get these 2 cards and you put the cards in there and then it takes you to an even cooler realm. The game looks like a lot of fun. It is a co-op game. You can play it solo or you can play it with friends. It's right now it's online only, which I've been seeing a lot of negative response to. But they did say, the developer said that we didn't think that this was a big issue going in. And I think it was just today they said that they're working on an offline mode. So hopefully that'll, please some people. But I know this was on your most anticipated games list. What are your thoughts?
Right. I'm looking forward to it still. I mean, it's early access, and because of that, there was no like Metacritic review available. But I was poking around in the Steam reviews, and yeah, a lot of people were echoing that. It's just like they were experiencing lag just
Yeah.
playing solo, which is ridiculous, and you shouldn't have to have that problem. I guess the developers have announced that they'll do like a solo only version of this, so you don't have to deal with that in the future. So that's one big problem solved. I will tell you that Chris Van 62, with 3 hours on record, said a tree monster pooped out sticks, and then I used it to make an axe to kill that same tree monster, and he recommends it. So that speaks volumes to me.
You're sold on just that review alone. Thank you, Chris Van Miller, whatever your name was. But yeah, I sent you like I saw a TikTok the other day, and I was like, dude, this game it looks so cool. The whole mechanic behind like traveling to these different realms, like it looks really cool. If once they get it flowing and get everything figured out, like because this is early access. This is our first few days of early access, so they're allowed to have bugs, get things sorted out. But it looks really dope. It's a survival game. We've been talking a lot about these survival games, and I like that this one has that little bit of a, it goes that extra mile, introduces a new mechanic, and I think it's cool.
Yeah, I did read a lot of positive feedback about the base building features, that you can build your mansion on a waterfall, whatever you want to do. You never really know what you're getting into, because I was hoping you could do things like that on Palworld. Yeah. Not really, or not yet, anyway. So it's good to see that the base building is going to be pretty tight on this one.
Absolutely. Yeah, so we'll keep that one, on our wish list. Keep looking at it. And it's inexpensive. Like I've been thinking about it recently, like the last bunch of new releases we've had, and a lot of the more popular games, we're talking Palworld, Helldivers, those are, $40 games. And the rest of our new releases are they're low, moderately priced too. Balatro, like I said, $13. It's these lower priced games are where they've been hitting the spot lately. Like our next one, Pacific Drive, came out on PS5 and PC on February 22nd. This is a first-person driving survival game. It's another survival game. This is the theme of our new releases this week. Same kind of idea. You go out, you scavenge resources, you got to craft new equipment for your car, do all these upgrades, and then, but this one, the loop is you go out and you face these weird, unpredictable creatures, and, you get these resources, you come back, and then you got to go back out. It's kind of like a roguelike in that, where you go out, you do a mission, come back to your base, upgrade your car, go out, do a mission, come back to your base. And it looks, again, this is another one where it's got the basic idea of a survival game, but it's adding something new to make things fresh. You're constantly repairing your car, upgrading your car, and you're going out and getting those resources to do it again. So this one, I'm very excited to check out. I almost grabbed it this week. Another one. This is I think it's like $26. I don't know, on sale right now. But I did see that on the PlayStation, on both PlayStation and PC, there's some frame rate issues. So I'm going to wait and see how that shakes out, see if they could get it fixed. I think they said it's running like 30 frames per second on the PlayStation, where it should be, 60. Usually the frame rate stuff doesn't bother me. In a game like this, it might, because it's driving. I'd like to see have that higher frame rate. But it's at a 78 on Metacritic, so obviously the reviewers are enjoying it. They're not having an issue with it. So I'm definitely, it's on my short list, even despite, my self-imposed game purchasing ban, which I broke for Balatro, but we're not going to get into it. What are your thoughts on Pacific Drive? Is this one you could see yourself get into?
Yeah, looking forward to this one too. It's got vibes of the new Ghostbusters, where it's got this subtle hinting of like the '80s style and stuff like that.
It's the wagon.
But, yeah, I mean, this one kind of differentiates itself from a lot of other survival games, whereas you are the car in this. I mean, from everything I've seen, I haven't seen gameplay of it proper, but yeah, you are the car when you leave that garage and you come back and do all your upgrades, and it seems 100% worth playing. And I didn't know that the price was so nice, so I might pick that up pretty soon too.
Yeah, absolutely. And then our last survival game of the week, Sons of the Forest, came out of early access on PC February 22nd. This one's the sequel to the game The Forest. Everybody says it's more of the same, whatever made The Forest as popular as it was. This is more of that. It's this horror survival style, where it's got, the usual survival tropes, but there's cannibals that are constantly, trying to kill you, and they'll like come and try to, sneak up on you or jump out of traps or whatever. And it's super scary. So it's like, that's the hook for this one. We got 3 different survival games, and they all have kind of different hooks to keep you there. Yeah. But one thing that this one has going for it is that it looks gorgeous. Like, it's very, very well crafted, and it looks awesome, and it looks really scary. But yeah, this one's been out. Lots of reviews for it. A lot of positive reviews. Now that it's the 1.0, expect it to continue to just be dope. Just be Sons of the Forest dope, and be scary.
Yeah.
I know you're not a big scary guy fan, but does your love of survival games win out into something like this? Would you play this game?
See, this one's interesting because it looks a lot like the other survival games that I've played lately, and the standout for me is like the monsters, the weird skin configurations of like what might have been humans at one time. And I can have a lot of fun shooting those and having a real monster in the world that you actually have to compete against, because some of these survival games kind of lack when it comes to that. It would be interesting. I'd have to see, price and how's it looking as far as reviews.
All right, so yeah, this one's $29.99 on Steam. So not bad, dude. Look at all 3 of these games you can get for the price of like a regular game. Maybe that's not true, but I don't do math good, so tricks on you. All right, that's it for our new releases from this past week, or what we can now call Survival Corner. Now we'll move on. Hopefully next week there's different types of games coming out. All right, let's get into our news of the week. All right, it is finally here, finally happening. Elden Ring Shadow of the Erdtree was finally given a release date, a trailer. It looks amazing, and it's coming out pretty soon. June 21st is the release date. This trailer, it's like 3-minute trailer, and it's showing all these new bosses, new weapons, new locations, everything about it. It looks like it's going to be massive. Like, this is not just, a couple hour DLC added onto there. It looks like it's going to be huge. It's got a price tag of $40 for the DLC. So it's definitely, more than your average downloadable content.
More like an old school expansion probably than just a regular DLC.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly what I was thinking. So IGN has a great interview with Miyazaki on there, and I read through it. I'm not going to give any spoilers or anything like that. Miyazaki, he was very tight-lipped about everything. Things he does say that it's an entirely new land, that you have to get to it in a very particular way. The layout is similar to the original in what it exists of dungeons and flat areas. And he says that it's larger than Limgrave, which is, I'm sure it's an understatement, because initially when Elden Ring was coming out, he said it was like a 30-hour game. Now, most people have played it for like 100 hours. So I'm assuming that it was a bit of an understatement. We'll see, because it looks massive. There's like, I don't know, like we saw like 10 new bosses at least.
Right.
Like, so it's gonna be huge, especially with the price tag of $40. But yeah. Xbox S, X, Xbox One, PS4, PS5, PC, June 21st. Get hype. Okay, so one thing that Miyazaki did in the interview that he did with IGN, he did talk about layoffs, separate completely from discussion about the DLC, but I thought it was interesting enough that I wanted to include it in the show here. They asked him about layoffs in the current state of the video game world and developers, and he said, just speaking on behalf of From Software, I think we are very blessed in the way that we have a lot of keen up-and-coming developers who've grown and they have developed within the studio, and they've reached these director positions where they're able to direct projects such as the recent Armored Core. We have several of these up-and-coming directors who are able to delegate these projects to, and we're able to have multiple projects on the go at once. What I foresee in this climate, at least for us, is a From Software where games can be directed by others, not only myself. I think in the face of that struggle and the place where the games industry is right now, I do see this as a time for us to continue to grow and to continue to cultivate this talent and continue to release these games for as long as we can. And I thought that was really well said, how they're investing in their developers and they're allowing them to grow from within and helm these big games. So they're not, it's all kind of internal, and they're just taking care of themselves. They're doing what they do, and they're making great games.
Yeah. So there's a big difference, because lately we've been talking about a lot of layoffs and cancellations and things like that. Just last week, or maybe the week before, we talked about whatever the big umbrella corporation is,
Embracer,
that like half the Embracer group,
yeah,
canceling 96 games or something insane like that,
yeah,
because they're overstepping with all of those in the first place. And yeah, in this climate, we talk about it all the time, but oversaturation. So whatever From Software does next, it's going to be a seller, and it's going to be a killer title, because they're not overstepping in the first place, and they can come out with 2 or 3 games at a time. And I think everybody will celebrate them.
Yeah, absolutely. And then one other thing adjacent to that is Miyazaki was asked about a Bloodborne remake or whatever. And, being that it is my favorite game, I got to report on this. He said, unfortunately, and I've said this in other interviews, it's not in my place to talk about Bloodborne specifically. We simply don't own the IP at From Software. For me personally, it was a great project, and I have a lot of great memories for that game, but we're not at liberty to speak to it. And he also did say that, he kind of hinted that it's possible. So you heard it here first. Bloodborne remake coming soon from Sony. But no, yeah, I wish he came out and was like, oh yeah, we're working on that right now. But like you said, they don't own it. Sony owns the IP for that one. But this is a PlayStation 4 game, dude. We're well past that. They gotta get this shit going. You ever play Bloodborne?
No.
Oh man, you should. You should do it.
Right. I mean, it's a game that it and Dark Souls kind of launched its own genre of games that everybody wants to be like now.
Yeah. To me, yeah, Bloodborne they did it the best. But so it wasn't a no. So I'm leaning very heavily into it being coming soon. All right, our next big news story here. Nintendo held another direct, and it was like 25 minutes of, a lot of games, a lot of remakes, doing a lot of remakes, a lot of new stuff coming to Nintendo Switch. Some of the big ones: Disney Epic Mickey Rebrushed. This is it's like a remake of the Disney Epic Mickey, where you gotta you paint things and stuff like that. You ever play that game? I think it was like a Wii game.
Maybe I have a couple copies of it, but I've actually not played it for whatever reason.
Oh, there you go. Now is your opportunity. Get out there, paint stuff. So that's a big one. That was a big surprise. Everybody's excited about that one. They showed another trailer for World of Goo 2. Even more goo coming at you. Endless Ocean Luminous was a new game, one of the newer games that they showed. It is a sequel to, I think this one was also a Wii game. Anyways, it's about like you explore an underwater world. It looks interesting. Coming to Nintendo Online, so a bunch of the Rare games, not Rare and, oh, it's so rare. Rare, the company Rare, Killer Instinct, Battletoads, RC Pro-Am, Snake Rattle and Roll, coming to the Nintendo Online service. Star Wars Battlefront Classic Collection was announced. This one's coming to not only Nintendo, but PlayStation and Xbox as well. This one's pretty cool. It's got the 2004 Star Wars Battlefront and the 2005 sequel, Battlefront 2, both kind of touched up a little bit, but now they have like online support, so you could play, online with your friends. That one comes out March 14th. Another trailer for Snow Day, the South Park game. That one confirmed that it is also coming to the Nintendo Switch. Another trailer for Another Crab's Treasure. Those are fun games. Recommend those. Go check that out. That's going to be out April 25th. Pepper Grinder, confirmation that's coming to Nintendo Switch. That one I played recently. Loved it. Go check that one out March 28th. What else? Super Monkey Ball. New Super Monkey. You ever play the Super Monkey Ball games?
No.
Oh man, probably the best monkey in a ball game out, right there. But this is Super Monkey Ball Banana Rumble. It's a new game in the series. Monster Hunter Stories. It's another remake of an old 2017 Monster Hunter game for the 3DS. Another Shin Megami Tensei game. Gundam game. I know you're excited about that. Gundam Breaker 4. Put together a Gundam from all these different pieces.
I would try it out.
Hell yeah, you would. And those were like the major announcements. So in addition to that, all the speculation, everything's been running rampant. The rumors, crazy. Finally, we got the official announcement. Grounded and Pentiment, both the Obsidian Xbox games, got official announcements, and they will be coming to the Nintendo Switch. So Pentiment is out now, and Grounded will be coming out April 16th. So it's happening, and the world did not explode. Xbox games on the Nintendo Switch.
Call me when you get Halo.
Exactly. What was your did you have any highlights from this direct, or what was your overall impression of it?
The new Nintendo Switch Online library editions, they got me. They knew what they were doing. They played that Killer Instinct soundtrack. Hit me in the nostalgia core.
Yeah, it sure was, man. But like looking at it, I'm like, holy cow, it looks rough. But I loved that old like Killer Instinct and stuff. Those are ones like, I mean, those Rare games. Being a PlayStation guy, we never saw any of them. So yeah, that one always hurt.
I really haven't played one since then, so that's why. I mean, it's nostalgic, but I have no idea after the Super Nintendo.
Yeah, sure. Yep, I think that's what it was for me too. I think Super Nintendo. Because didn't they do like the Donkey Kong Country? Was that Rare for a little bit or no?
Pretty sure I remember the logo being there.
I do too. That's all I remember is that logo. So yeah, overall, I thought it was just a meh direct, nothing really major. But this kind of goes with what we're saying, that this is the end of the Nintendo Switch cycle, and as far as games coming out, we're getting a lot of games that are out now kind of also being put on the Switch. So if Switch is your only gaming console, that's great. It's definitely going to get some sales that way, but most of these are games that have existed on other platforms, or will also exist on other platforms. So, except for like the the Mickey, and I think that was just a Nintendo only. But speaking of other platforms, in addition to the Nintendo Switch getting Pentiment and Grounded, they also did announce after that the dates for the PlayStation to get them. Grounded will become the PlayStation 4 and PlayStation 5, also on April 16th, and Pentiment is out right now. Came out on the 22nd. So, and then even after that, they issued a statement regarding Hi-Fi Rush. Hi-Fi Rush will arrive on PlayStation 5 on March 19th. And Sea of Thieves will be out April 30th. Sea of Thieves will be out April 30th. So, they put out a couple little cute trailers and stuff like that. So, yeah, not too long. And we're going to have Xbox games on the Nintendo Switch and on the PlayStation.
How you feeling about that last move if you're Ubisoft?
I've never played Sea of Thieves, so I don't know. But from what I've heard, not great. The Ubisoft, they can't be too pleased about it. This was their big moment, and they're going to be outshined by a 10-year-old.
Maybe not quite that old, but getting there.
Yeah, so I'm gonna play it. I think I'm gonna try Sea of Thieves because I've heard great things. I had friends that played it, and were obsessed with it, loved it. They had their little group, and it looks cool. So, it's all happening over here. Now we just got to get that PlayStation's got to get Starfield, Halo, the big dogs over here. Maybe we'll get Starfield and Halo over the PlayStation with when the PS5 Pro comes out. So analysts have been suggesting that a PS5 Pro could be released later this year. Now, this is all complete speculation from these analysts, which I always have a hard time reading that word because I just see anal. I don't know if that's just me, but it just, very focused on the anal. Well, they say that a souped up refresh would be designed to boost interest in PS5 after Sony admitted it expected the console sales pace of the console to start falling from the next fiscal year, which begins April 2024. And then they also expect it to launch ahead of Grand Theft Auto 6, which will, help boost everything, because that's what Grand Theft Autos do. They just, put a shot in the arm of money into the video game community. A quote from an analyst says, "There seems to be a broad consensus in the games industry that Sony is indeed preparing a launch of a PS5 Pro in the second half of 2024. And Sony will want to make sure to have a great piece of hardware ready when GTA 6 hits in 2025. What do you think about this? Do you think there's any truth to this?
Probably. I mean, when it comes down to analysts, I don't know about their spot on sort of conclusions. Yeah, they're guessing. I mean, it would make sense because we thought the same thing about the next version of the Switch. They will want to hit the holiday market, and we know with the Switch that's not going to happen, and maybe not with the PlayStation either, for all we know. But the way you transition to that struck me, because you said maybe we'll get like Starfield over on the PlayStation, and I've never thought about it from that angle before, but Xbox is going to have to be really careful with this because they don't want to be selling consoles for their competitor. They want to sell the games on those consoles, but they definitely, if they have an idea of when this PS5 Pro is going to come out, they don't want to be helping that along by putting their big AAA titles out. They might just have to wait and sit on some titles for a few years until, it'll sell some, but it's not going to be a console seller for people.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. You're right. To me, I don't know with the PS5 Pro, I don't know why. Basically, I don't know who is it for? What are you doing with this? Is it? I mean, I guess you're getting for the people that want that the 60 frames per second all the time, like ray tracing, you get HDR, like all those, the super, super high end stuff. Like, I guess, but to me, do you think, I don't know if we have this information out there, like, are games being, like, are they maxing out the potential of the PlayStation 5 right now? Like,
you can always go higher. You can always be like 120.
It's true, but like right now, like let's say like what's the most visually, like, I don't know, Spider-Man 2, like, they had all the all the bells and whistles. Do you think that was pushing the limits of the PlayStation 5?
I don't
there
know,
a need
because
for a Pro?
is that exclusive to the PS5, or is that, I mean, most games in this era right now, I feel like they're still making them run on the launch era PS4. And we're only now switching over to seeing the first, like, PS5 and forward only games.
Right, which leads me again to think that, like, is there a need for this yet? If we're still like, and I think a lot of times too, games can probably be optimized better for this. Because you talk about like, oh, it's pushing the boundary of the thing, and I'm like, I don't. Is it really though, or is it just not being optimized to take use of everything that the PS5 has? Like, I don't know. Is our games going to be that much better on a pro system, or are they going to still be made with a vanilla PS5 in mind and not really push it?
Right, right. And I think, like, when it comes down to that, there never really is a need for the pro console, right? It's for your enthusiasts. And there are some people, I mean, they don't even necessarily have to be a PlayStation fanboy. They might just be a console player, because I know quite a few people like this. They don't really care. They're just going to get whatever is the most powerful one out there. They're going to go to the store and they're going to buy it.
Sure.
So, this is a way to make a little bit more money on top, I would assume, for PlayStation. Yeah. Whereas, the games will still be designed for the slower consoles.
And what do you think a PS5 Pro is going to cost?
Oh God, what's MSRP on the regular PS5 right now?
I think $499.
I would assume at least 200 more.
Yeah.
So maybe even in the $700 range.
Yeah, that's a lot. That's a lot for a gaming console. So yeah, it'll be interesting. Again, this is all speculation. These analysts guessing on us, guessing right along with them. But if that's the case, we're not far off from that. Fiscal year ends next month. So the new fiscal year will be starting, and we'll be seeing what these companies have up their sleeves. So, all right, next up, we got the first trailer for the new Borderlands movie, directed by Eli Roth, starring Cate Blanchett, Kevin Hart, Jamie Lee Curtis, Jack Black. They're all there. What'd you think of the trailer?
Looks good. I'm excited for this one.
I am too. Like, I thought it looked silly. It's got someone else brought it up, and I totally agree. Guardians of the Galaxy kind of vibe to it, where it's a little more, tongue in cheek, but like fun, group dynamic, and just hijinks, and just big action, big hijinks. So yeah, I am excited for it. Comes out August 9th. All right, and this leads us to this week's top 5 of the week. Top 5. It's a top 5. Top 5. All right, this week we're talking about the top 5 best, in our opinion, top 5 best video game movies based on video games. And this was a interesting list in that our top 5 was the same, just in a different order. Oh. So it made things very easy to do. So starting with number 5, Sonic the Hedgehog. Now this was a big surprise watching the movie for me, because neither of us are Sonic the Hedgehog fans, really, but it was a very fun movie. I thought they really nailed the whole Sonic thing, You know?
I gotta tell you, this is the only movie on my list that I put on there that I didn't watch, just because I knew it was better than some of the dog crap that would be below it. I even put it above movies that I have watched, like Tomb Raider, Need for Speed.
Yeah, and it fit right in there. It's fine. I like your honesty. Go watch Sonic the Hedgehog. I think you'll like it. Both of them. Sonic and Sonic 2 are both very good movies. All right. Number 4, Silent Hill. Did you see that one?
Yeah.
Silent Hill. That's a good movie. It's a creepy movie. They do the whole pyramid head guy really well. Those creepy nurses. I thought it was a very well-made movie.
That's one I've actually watched like 2 or 3 times over the year, and I've never really played a lot of Silent Hill.
Yeah. Like I played the main Silent Hill game when I was younger. I think that's all you need out of this. But yeah, I thought it was a very well-made movie. Number 3, Mortal Kombat, the OG, when it was in 1995, I think. It's a classic, dude. The soundtrack, dude. I'll listen. I'll put the soundtrack on to get me fired up. If I ever, or if I got a poop that's not coming out real good, I'll put that on, and bam,
get out of here.
Yeah, exactly. Such a good movie. The new Mortal Kombat was good in its own way too, but it doesn't live up to the OG. I saw that in movie theaters twice. Yeah, that's
Wow.
how old I am. Number 2, Detective Pikachu. For any Pokemon fan, like living your dream of being in a world with real Pokemon characters. They were all well constructed visually. Ryan Reynolds as the Pikachu character is hilarious. Fantastic movie.
Yeah. I was worried that this one wasn't going to count because is it based on the game or is it based on the anime? Yeah, they made the games after the movie, right? The actual Detective Pikachu games.
No, so there was a Detective Pikachu from I don't know. I think it was a while back. I'm not super up on the world of Pikachu, but I'm pretty sure it was I don't know, like a Game Boy game or something. I don't know, back in the day. But yeah, that was a big surprise for me because I've never been a huge Pokemon fan, but that movie, that's one I've watched a bunch of times since.
Yeah.
Which leads us to our number 1 for this week. What is it, Full Clip?
Super Mario Brothers movie.
Yes.
The new one. Not the
new one, not
something.
John Leguizamo. The new one. And this is one where, there was some division in what people thought of this. And for me, it really encapsulated the feeling of the video game. It was fun. And the characters were all fleshed out very similar to how I perceived them in my mind while playing these games throughout the years. The worlds were cool. It had so many Easter eggs for fans of the Mario series. And what Chris Pratt was fine.
Yeah, really.
So, yeah.
Yeah, this one it never really stops for me. So I really don't know how. Even if you wanted to come into it with a shitty attitude and just find problems and nitpick about everything, I feel like everything looks so good, sounds so good, and it hits all the right boxes, checks all the things off the list that it should. I think everything is good enough, even if it's not the most original story ever told. I think it's one that wins people over if they watch it.
Absolutely. Well said. All right, and that is this week's top 5 list. Let us know what your top 5 would be, what you would take out, what you would put in there, and send it over to us. All right, and last up, a new game announcement, a little game called Kingmakers. Now, this game, completely blind into this trailer. I was like, oh, a new game announcement. I always look forward to these. Watching it, it's 20 seconds of chivalry style, medieval combat, hand-to-hand combat, and then all of a sudden a pickup truck comes cruising through, just mowing people down, and I was immediately intrigued, and I'm like, what the heck is this game? So basically the premise is you travel back in time 500 years to, change the course of history. And with it, you bring all these different weapons,
your arsenal.
A huge arsenal of everything, dude, like grenade launchers, airdrops, all this stuff. And what the game is, it's all these different battles. Each one is it's real time, and it's a real time simulation of this battle that's going on. And you could be out there, fighting in the battle. You could be controlling troops, and doing all sorts of stuff. But it's thousands of soldiers that are out there fighting, and they're all like controlled by, according to this developer, like this special AI that has them, basically, doing what would happen in real life in a battle like this. Well, they might defect to switch sides or whatever. So, all things considered, I feel like that's the thing that's going to make this. When there's thousands of things on there, you need that AI to be, to be working and making it have that realism, but otherwise it looks very interesting.
Oh yeah. Yeah, it looks like your character kind of comes from PUBG almost.
Right.
But then even in the trailer, it looks like, I don't know if it's going even further into the future. There's more time skipping going around, but it looks like an ultra futuristic floating city thing going on. So really interesting there. I think it is really good timing that this announcement came out so close to the reign of Palworld. There's both of these sort of have something in common where it's like, this shouldn't exist. This feels wrong, but oh so right.
Right.
I think it's really cool to have games like this. It doesn't have to be as insane as like Goat Simulator as far as the sandboxes go, but it can be a hell of a lot more fun to be like the only guy with a sniper rifle sniping the leader of the other faction off of his horse. Just like Palworld is fun for the reasons that it shouldn't exist.
Yeah, this leads me to, this should have been our top 5 this week. What games could be made better with the inclusion of guns? Because it's like, okay, you got your Pokemon with guns, now you got your Chivalry with guns. It's like, what's next? But
oh no.
Yeah, it's definitely.
I have some bad examples that I'll just keep to myself.
Yeah, exactly. It's like that, the Americanization of video games. But this one, it also has online co-ops. You could play with up to 3 other friends out there in this. And I think it looks like it's going to be a blast. It comes out to Steam Early Access later this year. So, very interesting premise. And like you said, like Palworld, I like games that do this. They kind of just, they just buck the system a little bit and keep you on your toes. So, but it looks very violent. I mean, it's war, so what is it good for?
All right, you got
nothing. You got anything else?
Nothing at all.
We did it, folks. We're through another week's worth of the biggest video game news. Thanks so much for checking out this episode, however you found it, whether it's through podcast services, you got the audio version, or through YouTube over at Pop Culture Playground. It's where you could find this and a bunch of other stuff. You can also check us out at a very special website called Fruit Lab, where you can post video game content or watch content, and you earn a cryptocurrency called a pip. You can use it to buy gift cards, that sort of thing. That's a lot of fun. Also, if you're at YouTube, go check out GameFAQs, GameFAX. That's where Full Clip is over there playing video games, posting sweet content. And then check us out on TikTok. Daily content over there, putting out the best bits. Stay up to the date with all the news throughout the week. And, it's nice little snippets. So you can watch it while you're, waiting in line, while you're going pee, however you want to watch TikToks. Bam. And then, I think that's all I got. Should we get out of here?
Yeah, let's go.
Let's do it. Thanks so much. We'll see you next week with more Gaming News Weekly.